Hey, what's up guys? Coach Jameson. Today, I want to review the baby crawl. You see a lot of us in the primal movement community crawling, whether it's a baby crawl, cat crawl, bear crawl, lizard crawl. We have all these different movements. The main reason I like using crawling, first off, it's very soothing for the body to get back to the ground, really relaxes the central nervous system. The ground is level. We're using 6 points of contact, hands, knees, and feet. So that's gonna help level everything out, whether we have those uneven hips, uneven shoulders, very common situations we see within our Gen Pop. Again, it's not that your posture's bad or your movement's bad or you're wrong in what you're doing. This is just a simple way to reset and hit all of those areas. The other reason I like it is because we had to all learn to crawl before we walk. And most of us no longer know how to crawl properly. So reestablishing that crawling pattern can almost help re-sync up our shoulders, spine, and hips for whenever we're on 2 feet moving through space. And it's gonna help the body remember. Again, we come back to the floor, we're gonna come back to this place of almost feeling like a child, being able to crawl around, play around, forget about worries for the moments that we're doing this. So let's go over the crawl. I'm gonna give you a back view just so you can see. Again, this is all gonna be about loading, pressure, opening, and releasing from one side to the other. This very rotational wave or spiral-like pattern we're always talking about. Again, it starts from the ground. We're just gonna go over basics. So for now, when we first start crawling, the main things I point out to people are paying attention that we're kind of keeping this heel out position. I don't wanna be crawling around with sloppy feet. And then the next thing is maintaining a nice long spine. So what I mean by that is most people, when I first get them to crawl, is they're so formed by the chair, they crawl around like this. They crawl around with like a hunchback. So we have to pay attention that I'm pulling my shoulders down gently away from the ears. Think of my butt up to the sky. Again, this isn't something I'm exaggerating, not thinking of really pulling my butt up to the sky and then creating compression. I want length. I want a nice long decompressed spine with glutes driving me forward. So those are the 2 main points. Keep a long spine, be mindful of keeping the heels out, and then we're just gonna step opposite arm, opposite leg. So in this case, I'm gonna go right arm, left leg. Now I'm loading onto this side, so I should be able to pick up my right leg and my left arm and be weighted into this left side. This is now gonna drive me forward into my next step. Lift and release that opposite leg, so now we're loaded into the right. Again, this is just a little drill at first that we do when we first start crawling. I want you to notice this loaded leg as it steps forward. We get this rotation inwards. Opening on this right side, rotating inwards on this left side, and then that's just gonna transfer over. So there's our crawling motion from the back, just so you can see a front view, things that we're looking at as I step, and again, load from one side over to the other. I want you to notice my head is moving and loading over each column with each step. I want you to notice the side bend and the movement of the shoulders. So again, very good movement for the thoracic spine and shoulders if people are locked up. And then as we get better at this, we can start playing with more fluidity. So again, paying attention, adding a little bit more of a side bend if we know we're stuck in our thoracic. Maybe paying it a little bit more attention to the rotation of the shoulders as we crawl, if we're really feeling tension or tightness in the shoulders. Again, this is why I love this movement. We can just put on some knee pads or get to crawling on the raw floor. Set your timer for 5 minutes. That's where I recommend to start. You'll get some good feedback for your body. And if you have a mirror, try to utilize that and crawl by the mirror to make sure, again, that we're keeping a nice long spine, that we're not crawling around with the hips tucked, kind of pushing everything forward. Again, this is common because of the years we've spent with the back support in a chair, in a couch, in the car. We just have this forward posture where everything is pulling forward, and I want to get it all to that opposite position, really pulling back, because that is where we operate from best. So one more lap just so you can see the pattern. I'll add a little bit more of a side bend into this one, make it a little more fluid and swaggy. So as I step, big side bend, I can even pull my arm back if I like. Again, once you start crawling a lot, you'll play with a lot of different variations. And one thing I want to let you know too is don't worry about trying to look like me or any of our other coaches, when you crawl, just start doing it. And the body will slowly remember and start recalibrating itself. And again, why crawl? Because again, we all had to crawl before we learned to walk, because the crawling pattern is the same thing as our walking pattern. Loading out and back to one side, releasing the energy, loading out and back to the opposite side, just going back and forth from one side to the other. So go ahead, start playing with your baby crawl. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, concerns, what you're feeling. Again, challenge 5 minutes of baby crawling and see what sort of feedback you get from your body. Coach Jamison, out.